Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. I hope everyone is doing well. We're smack bang in the middle of this international break. But what the international break has allowed us to do is give us a lot of time to think and just tinker with our FPL teams. Today, we're going to be discussing premium assets. I think some real good discussion around kind of who to buy and who not to buy, especially in that kind of premium bracket of, say, 10 mil plus. There could be some good discussion there. I'm not going to include Kane and Bruno Fernandes in this video, as I think those two are kind of all but essential. And it's kind of who the third or fourth premium asset is. If you are new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily FPL content. Hit the like button if you do enjoy the video, and let's get straight on into this one. So the first player we are looking at is Mohamed Salah, a player who earlier on in the season definitely could have been considered essential. However, he's let us down in the past few weeks, or at least for the people who've owed him, he hasn't really been putting out too many good performances. He scored 17 goals so far this season with an XG of 0.55. His XA is 0.16. So you're expecting almost a return of game. That those kind of expected goals and assists have definitely decreased since earlier on in the season. He's got 3 assists and he's got 4 key passes in the last 5 games, so he's not really slipping the ball into anyone. But we do know with Salah, he's a very selfish player, so when he gets sort of in any kind of sight of goal, he is going to shoot, and that's why we kind of in the past have loved him as an FPL asset. We see here the fixtures, they're okay in terms of the next 4 for Salah, with Arsenal, Aston Villa. Leeds actually could be a green in terms of an attacking kind of prospect for Liverpool, and then Newcastle. But after the Newcastle game, Liverpool do have a very, very nice run of fixtures where they have, I think, 4 out of the last 5 are green marked on the FPL app, so it looks really good for them, and Salah could potentially be an option until the end of the season. Would you captain him though in any of these games? Against Leeds, there is potential. Against Newcastle, there is all potential. This kind of Salah at home thing, Salah at Anfield thing hasn't really come true, or not at least in the kind of last 5 to 10 game weeks. In the early part of the season, if you captain Salah at Anfield, he was definitely getting you those returns. However, of late, he's not been the best option, and not too many of the premiums have been. However, I do still feel that Salah could be a very good option. I wouldn't put him down as, I definitely would not put him down as a differential. However, his effective ownership definitely has decreased, and I know personally in my mini leagues, if I brought in Salah, it would be a differential there. So it could be a thing of, if people in your mini leagues don't have him, Salah, I definitely do back to pick some goals back up, especially with the fixtures that Liverpool do have. One thing to mention though is that with Liverpool kind of really dropping places in the league this year, their main chance of getting into the Champions League next year is the Champions League, winning the Champions League this year, and so their main focus is going to be on the Champions League. So we may see a little bit of rotation with Salah, but other than that, I still think that he looks like an okay option, and I'd probably rank him as kind of one of the top players out of the players that we're going to look at today. The next player we are looking at is Jamie Vardy for Leicester. He's picked up 12 goals so far this season with 7 assists, only 1 less attacking return than Salah. He's got an XG of 0.7 and an expected assist of 0.18, so a 0.88 total kind of expected return. So you're almost expecting a goal per game from Vardy. His away form is absolutely unbelievable as well. He was at one point averaging at least a goal per game when he was away from home. So away from home, he looks like a real good kind of captaincy prospect. He's picked up 5 key passes in the last 5. I wouldn't be too worried about that kind of being low. I mean, 1 key pass game is absolutely fine, but Jamie Vardy tends to be the one getting on the end of the key passes rather than one playing the key passes, and just his clinical finishing is the main reason why he is a good asset. However, he does play against Manchester City in Gamweek 30, so it could well be a chance to kind of hold off for Vardy at least for a couple of weeks as they play West Ham. After that, they then play West Bromwich Albion and Crystal Palace at home, and that West Brom game could be a real good one to captain him. It currently is a blank fixture on the FPL website. However, I've done a bit of searching on Ben Kreller's Twitter. He's kind of put this game as a 95% down to go ahead. So for now, I'm definitely going to be assuming that this game will go ahead. If you are on a wild card, maybe for this week for Game Week 30, then I think you can still consider getting Jamie Vardy in. He does have a good record against Manchester City, and Leicester are battling it out with West Ham United for those Champions League spots. So Jamie Vardy and Leicester definitely won't roll over to West Ham, and I think that out of the players we are going to look at, Jamie Vardy, for me personally, is definitely a player I'm looking to bring into my team. His teammate Kelechi Iheanacho, for a hell of a lot cheaper, has also been playing well, so he's one to look out for as well. But in terms of a premium asset, I think that Vardy could be a very, very nice one in the coming weeks. The next player we are looking at is PierreEmerick Aubameyang, a player at the start of the season who everyone thought, and myself included, was going to be one of the best FPL assets this year, just because if you took his kind of goal scoring from the previous season, the amount of points he would have scored would have been absolutely phenomenal. However, this season, it's been a very up and down season for Aubameyang, not too many ups and quite a lot of downs. He scored 9 goals with an XG of 0.4, only picking up 1 assist and the expected assist of 0.07, only making 2 key passes in the last 5 games. He's not even got an expected return of 0.5. However, Arsenal do have some very, very nice fixtures coming up. They obviously play against Liverpool in Gameweek 30, so maybe not the best fixture to bring him in for, but also potentially not the worst, as Liverpool, although they are down as a kind of 4 difficulty, a red difficulty, haven't actually been too defensively great, especially without Virgil van Dijk. Now that Henderson is injured, now that Fabinho is out as well, I'm not really too sure what's up with Fabinho, but if he's out as well, Liverpool aren't looking like too great of a defensive outfit. They also then go and play Sheffield United and Fulham. Everton also this season, in terms of an attacking prospect for Arsenal, I think they can definitely score goals in this game, but I guess the reason they are a red fixture is because Everton themselves have been scoring a fair few goals. I do think that Aubameyang looks like a pretty decent option. If we knew that he was going to play week in, week out, he would for sure 100% be in my team. It's just with the rotation that has kind of been there for him of late, especially with the fact that Arsenal is still gunning for that Europa League and trying to win that. I think that Aubameyang will see more rotation. That's definitely a bit of a risk on that kind of side to bringing Aubameyang in, because personally, if I brought Aubameyang in, especially in the Sheffield United game and the games they have coming up after that, they play at the bottom 4 within the space of 5 games after game week 30. I do think I would personally be captaining Aubameyang, and if you went and kind of got benched for one of those games, I'll be very, very frustrated, especially with the fact that if he does get benched, he's also likely to come off of the bench if Arsenal aren't doing very well either. So I think Aubameyang looks like a good option. If, as I say, he was guaranteed to play every single game, I'd 100% be going for him, but just maybe a word of warning that he may not play every single game. Then we move to Kevin De Bruyne. I know a lot of people of late have actually been bringing in Kevin De Bruyne since he kind of recovered from injury, and he's returned some people quite nicely, getting that brace where quite a few people captain him as well. He scored 5 goals so far this season with an XG of 0.48. He's got 11 assists and an expected assist of 0.47. So he's basically almost got an expected return of 1 per game, which is the highest we've seen so far out of all the premiums we have looked at. And he's also got 15 key passes in the last 5 games, averaging 3 passes per game. Kevin De Bruyne is absolutely balling out. And I do think that Kevin De Bruyne can be a potentially very, very good asset. He's very good for bonus points. Even if he gets an assist, you're likely to see him pick up at least 1, maybe 2, even 3 bonus points. And with the clean sheets that Man City have been picking up so far this season, that's just an easy extra point for him, especially if you're going to put that captaincy armband on him. The one thing that's kind of bad against Manchester City assets, and De Bruyne in particular, is just the general amount of rotation. And the fact that, as you can see here, Kevin De Bruyne does not have a game week 33. And do you really want a player who's potentially likely to get rotated in 1 out of these kind of 3 games, and then he'll only play 2 in 4 games? It's maybe not the best option. I don't know personally whether if I owned him, I would be selling him. I'd probably be looking to move him on, because this Leicester fixture isn't the greatest of fixtures, and Manchester City in the past have struggled against Leicester. But then you have the Leeds fixture where you can go and captain De Bruyne. I think Leeds should really be a green fixture in terms of an attacking prospect for Manchester City, although in the reverse fixture they did draw 1-1. However, there's kind of Manchester City, they were warming up to the season at that point in time. I do think the Man City will go and give Leeds a pretty good damn hammering, and then they play against Aston Villa, who kind of this season have actually been okay defensively. So I don't know if it really is the best fixtures for Manchester City, and especially with De Bruyne likely to be rotated, I don't know if I would be bringing him in, especially ahead of this blank game week. However, after the blank game week, come kind of game week 34, De Bruyne could well be an option. I still think is a decent option. I just think there are potentially other players. I'd probably be going for Salah, just because we know he will play more fixtures. Even Aubameyang offers a bit more of a kind of differential punt, but De Bruyne could still be a very very good option. And if you're going to captain him in for that Leeds game, could send you absolutely flying up those leaderboards. So the next player we are looking at is Kevin De Bruyne's teammate Raheem Sterling, and he's been rather underwhelming so far this season. He did kind of have that spree of games, of about 8 games, where he was actually returning in every single game, and had he not missed that penalty against Brighton, his form would have actually been pretty unbelievable. He scored 9 goals so far this season, with expected goals of 0.45 and assists of 5 and expected assists of 0.22. So he's got about expected returns of 0.67, which isn't too bad. You wouldn't really be captaining Raheem Sterling, and coming in at 11.4 million, it is quite a steep price to pay for a player who you probably wouldn't even consider captaining. He's got a key passes of 7, so it's one of the higher key passes that we have seen from the premium assets so far. As with De Bruyne, he misses the same fixtures, and I just think in comparison to De Bruyne, you know, if you really wanted a Manchester City attacking asset or an attacking premium, I'd be going for De Bruyne. So Sterling, I'm just going to go ahead and say that he's probably just a complete no from me. I think he's a great player, but he just has not been performing this, and especially with him getting benched lately and just general rotation and games that they missed, I think that, yeah, Raheem Sterling is just generally an avoid. Then we move on to the final premium option, and that is Sadio Mane. A man kind of like Raheem Sterling, who's very much underimpressed so far this season. He's picked up 7 goals and 4 assists, with expected goals of 0.41 and expected assists of 0.22. And to be honest, with only picking up 7 goals and 4 assists, I would expect his kind of expected returns, as it were, to be a lot lower than that, to be honest. He's picked up 6 key passes in the past 5 games, and it's been very, very meh for Mane so far this season, and of late he's not really been picking up too many attacking returns. But could the back end of the season be the kind of catalyst for Mane's return, especially with the good fixtures that Liverpool do have in that kind of final 4 or 5 games? Obviously, as with Salah, they play against Arsenal and Aston Villa to start with. Not the best fixtures, not the worst. Then Leeds and Newcastle could be good attacking fixtures. I will say for Mane, if you're looking for a kind of a differential in terms of a premium option, he probably is the best one. I think he comes at about 4 to 5% owned at the minute, and then the effective ownership will be even lower than that. So if you go and captain him against the likes of Leeds and Newcastle, and he goes and hauls, then he will send you absolutely flying. So I'd only personally be going for Sadio Mane if I was looking for someone who could send me absolutely genuinely flying up those leaderboards. Other than that, I'd say it's a pretty much a void for Mane. He's been pretty underwhelming all season, and I don't expect too much to change towards the back end of the season. So this was a quick little look at the kind of premium assets that we do have in FPL at the minute. Of late, they have all been pretty underwhelming, apart from the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Kane. Maybe you can consider Son as a premium option, as he is kind of in that 9 to 9.5 million bracket. But the other players, you know, the likes of Salah, Sterling, De Bruyne, Aubameyang, have generally been quite underwhelming so far this season. But to summarise, if I were to bring in premium assets for the back end of the season, I'd probably be looking to Salah in the midfield, as I still think he can have a good kind of back end of the season. Vardy in terms of attack, I think could be really great, and I'm potentially looking at going Vardy and Kane up front, and maybe Aubameyang if you think he's going to play every single game, or if Arsenal do get knocked out of the Europa League, I think that Aubameyang becomes a much better option. But if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for daily FPL content, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.